The 1912 gift of 3,020 flowering cherry trees from the city of Tokyo to Washington was a milestone in the development of relations between the United States and Japan. It grew into an act of diplomacy and goodwill that would put a lasting mark on the Washington landscape and community. The idea of planting cherry trees in the city's new Potomac Park had been proposed about 25 years earlier by Washington author, journalist, and world traveler Eliza Ruhamah Scidmore, who became enamored with cherry blossoms during trips to Japan that began in 1885. The dream finally took root in 1909 when First Lady Helen Nellie Taft, prodded by a note from Scidmore, took up the project as part of her own plans for developing Potomac Park. Mrs. Taft replied to Scidmore on April 7, 1909, "I have taken the matter up and am promised the trees, but I thought perhaps it would be best to make an avenue of them, extending down to the turn in the road." With support from Tokyo's mayor, Yukio Ozaki, 2,000 trees were shipped to Washington and arrived in early 1910. Unfortunately, most had to be burned because of infestation. The Japanese government resolved to send a fresh, even larger shipment of trees that would be free of diseases and pests. A committee of experts worked closely with Seisaku Funatsu, a cherry tree grower at Tokyo's Arakawa River embankment, to select and raise trees for the second gift. Funatsu selected 12 varieties of trees, which were grafted to specially selected rootstock and nurtured for a year at the Imperial Horticultural Station of Okitsu before being shipped to Washington. The second gift included Some Yoshino, 10 different varieties of double-flowered or manifold trees, one variety with yellow blossoms, and some varieties with fragrance. 2 years later, after that rocky start, a second successful shipment of 3,020 trees, selected from the banks of Tokyo's Arakawa River, arrived in Washington in good health. Most of the cherry trees were planted in the new Potomac Park, including around the tidal basin. This sightseer map, published just 2 years after the first cherry blossom trees were planted, features the Potomac Park Speedway, which was envisioned as an ideal site for a field of cherries by early proponents. The cherry trees along the tidal basin were well established by 1918, when this drawing was made. Thanks to the painstaking work of the National Park Service, about 125 trees remain from the original 1912 gift. Fresh plantings over time have included 676 new trees between 1986 and 1988. 400 more, propagated from the original 1912 trees, were planted between 2002 and 2006. Tokyo's gift of trees to Washington more than a century ago remains a source of joy, delight, peaceful contemplation, and beauty for Washingtonians and countless visitors to the nation's capital. The annual blossoms have inspired events and traditions that salute natural beauty and the cultivation of friendship between the people of the United States and Japan. Learn more about Tokyo's gift of trees and friendship in Cherry Blossoms, Sakura Collections from the Library of Congress, available in bookstores and libraries everywhere.